So, what we're talking about today is a pretty deep topic. It's not like a training we've done before. And you may notice in our group chat, every month or so, I come up with some kind of diary entry about the self and thoughts and beliefs. This is a congregation of those thoughts into one thing that I believe is the most powerful way of getting what you want. So we're talking body transformation, we're talking other goals as well in your life, in your health, wealth, and your relationships. Okay? And it all starts with your thoughts. Your thoughts shape your body and life, and for the good and for the bad. So, what we'll talk about today is why you sabotage. Now, you will probably relate to a lot of this. Maybe before you signed up, maybe soon as you signed up in the program, maybe there's elements right now that you can relate to. You guys specifically that are on this call today, you're all very high performers as far as it goes, and it makes sense you being here. You can tell obviously you're high performers, but really we're going to look at why you're sabotaging at all on your journey or in other areas of your life, the stories that shape you, the self-image thermostat, thought traps that are holding you back from getting what you want in a specific area, how to shift your identity, and then a real-time reflection on your inner story. Now, what the hell does that all mean? Well, by the end of this call, you'll be able to spot the identity stories keeping you stuck. So any kind of plateaus you're experiencing on this journey or you're experiencing in another part of your life, you'll be able to identify why that's happening and exactly how you can correct it so you can progress more quickly to wherever it is you're going to. You can understand the nature of self-sabotage and learn exactly why that happens. You can use your thoughts to reshape your results. You can feel more in control of your journey. And like I said, this applies to every pursuit of your life, not just fitness. It's very powerful stuff, and I'm going to teach you how to reshape your thoughts and therefore your actions and your reality. So get a pen and a paper, take some notes, because this stuff is really important, and let's dive in. So, on your fitness journey, signing up with me, continuing to work on these goals, you're not fighting body fat or any health insecurity. You're fighting your identity and your thoughts. You are the only thing in your way of getting what you want. It's not the stubborn fat. It's not the metabolism. It's none of these things many people tell themselves. Now, every action you take is a reflection of the story you believe about yourself. And these actions are dictated by your thoughts. Because where else can your actions come from? You think and you have a set of thoughts that are stored in your head like a bank, and you choose the specific action. And if we can reshape those thoughts into thoughts that are going to better serve you, that's how you get to where you want to be more quickly. So that's what we're doing, is shifting those thoughts. We don't rise to our goals, we fall to our self-image. So every action you take, every sabotage moment, every excuse is simply your mind trying to return you to who it thinks you are. Okay, and if you haven't progressed on your health journey, in your relationships, in your wealth, assuming that you're wanting to improve all of those, it's because you have a specific identity or a belief within that realm that you're defaulting back to. So if you, for example, you guys are doing very well with your fitness journey. Let's talk about wealth for a second. Like, if you've always wanted more money and you've never made more money, it's because you've always seen money in a negative way. You've always seen money as difficult to obtain. And then whenever you try and take an action, it's simply your mind returning you to who it thinks you are. And it thinks you're someone who sees money as difficult to obtain, so it makes it hard to obtain. Okay? So why do we sabotage ourselves? Well, here's the thing. You know what to do. We know how to achieve our goals. We know the steps that we need to take, but we don't always do it. Well, that's not a strategy issue. And you guys can share this with anyone who is wanting to get in shape that feels like they don't have the right strategy. It's like before signing up with me, all of you guys knew what to do, but you didn't do it. It was an identity problem. And by investing and committing, you then shifted your identity in that very moment into someone who takes their health more seriously. I hopped on the journey with you, and I'm still there now, and this is why you make progress. It was because there was an identity shift in the moment, well, either in the moment you handed me your credit card, or a month before, and maybe there was a bit of a delay. Okay, but really, you act out what you believe you deserve. Okay? So, Let me explain what that actually looks like, because you act out what you believe you deserve. It's really hard. We want to think that we deserve the best. But let me tell you what this looks like in a practical and personal example, okay? So this is me and my, you could say, insecurity about creativity. But it all stems from the identity problem. Now, where has this identity problem come from? Well, it's usually something from like deep rooted in our childhood. And you're going to see how irrational these beliefs are and how much bullshit we tell ourselves from an experience way back in our life. And you're going to have the biggest paradigm shifts, and so much is going to feel so much easier after this call. So stick with me here. So, me on the left there is a young version of me, and my assumption is that what happened is someone laughed at me for doing a bad picture. Maybe my sister took the mickey out of me. We're all painting, we're a few years old, and my mum's got the arts and crafts out, and we're drawing and we're painting, and perhaps they laughed at me, okay? And I concluded there, based off that first experience around drawing, that I'm not very good at this. By the time I got to primary school, and we were doing art class, and secondary school, I had decided it wasn't my thing based off my past experiences. And therefore, I didn't really try, and I didn't get good grades. And we'd play Pictionary as a family, and people were unhappy when I was on their team because I didn't try, because I didn't think I was very good at this, from a very, very first early experience of one person laughing at me. You see how ridiculous it is? But what's even more ridiculous is this pops up in my day-to-day life today. I'm behind the camera, I'm trying to stand out in front of people and get clients when other people are trying to do the same. And I'm questioning, like, is this for me? Are there better creators out there? Am I even creative? And that is a belief I've held due to some silly, you can't even call it trauma, it's just a silly personal misunderstanding of when I was a kid. And then I reinforced that going to school because I had that belief. And then I didn't believe it was my thing, so I didn't try. And then I got bad grades. Oh, cool, I just suck at art. Pictionary, Alex, we don't want you on our team. All of that stuff, and it reinforced this belief. At any moment during those years, I could have reshifted that belief into, you know what? I didn't do well there, but I'm going to commit to doing better. Okay, and I hope you guys are seeing how this ties to your fitness journey. In being out of shape in the first place, you likely had a bad experience that put you off pursuing this journey. And it's, well, for me, this still pops up in day-to-day life. And on the flip side, my dad must have told me when I was a kid and I was running around, whoa, you're fast. As a result, I liked the feeling of that, and I decided to take that as my identity. And then I joined running club at school, and I became a district champion because I decided I was athletic. But it could have been, my first instance of someone talking about my running could have been someone saying, you're a bit slow, or you run a bit weird. And that could have changed the complete journey. But where I'm at with my dad saying, whoa, you're fast, you're really good, Alex. You should play football, you should get into sports. I decided I was athletic in school, became district champion, won loads of races, and then it's led to me finding a career in fitness that feels really natural to me and really fulfilling. Okay, and our stories shape our behavior. So wherever you're lacking in your health, wealth, or your relationships, it's highly likely there's been a story throughout your life that's led to you at this point right now, and you're so tied to that identity. But if you think to the root of it, it's usually such an insignificant thing. Someone told something to you once, you clinged on to that belief, you then reinforced it because you were looking for reinforcements, and at any point you can shift it. And that's the thing, that's the main lesson. Your body and discipline and all of that stuff will never outperform your identity and your belief systems. What you believe about yourself, what you're telling yourself. And because of how easy it is, well, it's not easy to understand where these beliefs specifically started, but when you break it down and you realize it's quite a silly route, just a certain experience, and you clung to that identity, and you looked for reinforcements, it should give you the power that you can change the direction of it. And, you act in alignment with how you see yourself, not what you want. The second you see yourself differently, you start attracting what you want. Your subconscious mind is goal-seeking, but it only pursues goals it believes are you. No, I'm not that guy. No, I don't want to start a business. I'm not a risk taker. Well, why not? And why not? And why not? And it usually goes back to something very, very unnecessary in your childhood that created a belief that you stuck to. So think of your self-image like a thermostat in a room. You might open a window which offers the opportunity to change habits. The temperature then drops. But unless you reset the thermostat, it's just going to kick the heat back on and return you to your baseline. You open the opportunity to change habits, you're going to kick yourself back to how you see yourself. Fat loss works in the same way. You can diet, you can train, you can track calories many, many times, but if your internal setting says, I'm not disciplined, I always regain the weight, I don't know why it happens to me, metabolism, menopause, whatever you've told yourself, I don't finish things, I'm not that person, you will self-correct back to that old version of you. Okay? So what does this mean for you? Well, you don't need more effort. You just need to reset the setting. You need to reset the thoughts you're telling yourself. And then as well as implementing and shifting the behaviors, you need to rehearse your identity and your belief systems about yourself. And that combined with the plan will take you as far as you want to go. Like, so long as it's possible in the realms of physics, you can really shift this thing to wherever you want. Like, how do elite athletes get ahead of other competitors? How do people consistently win? How does Ronaldo stay the best footballer in the world for 15 years running? It's all because he's reinforced these belief systems over and over and over and over and over again. In such a competitive world, it'd be so silly to think that one person comes out on top every single year. Because there's so many people trying to do the same thing. His belief systems are just a level above everyone else. So he's then able to attract that outcome and that reality. The second he starts shifting those beliefs into something more negative or doesn't serve him, he falls back. So let's look at the two thought traps that keep that thermostat locked in place. So just as a recap, the thermostat is the current self-belief that each time you change, you default back to it. Okay, so what are the two things that are keeping that thermostat there? And you can really think, guys, on your fitness journey, where do you have a thermostat? In your health, in your wealth, your relationships, where is that thermostat? Where am I locked in place? Where am I not improving? Where am I not getting what I want? Well, the first thought trap is the identity thought trap. This is who I am. I self-sabotage. I'm a snacker. I'm lazy. I'm not consistent enough. I can't go to the gym X amount of times. I constantly get injured. It's just all the shit that we offload on ourselves. And this isn't your identity. It's simply a repeated pattern of thoughts which lead to outcomes. But the thoughts come from something way back that isn't relevant at all to where you're at right now. Okay, and your brain defaults to what's familiar, not what feels good or not what necessarily serves you. Okay, so you've been rehearsing the wrong role in the realm that you're not improving in. But the good news is patterns can be rewritten. You can reframe to, this is who I was, but I've outgrown that version. If you were someone that would make excuses saying you didn't have the right plan, or you have to have an accountability buddy to make progress, or you're not a good cook and you can't make tasty food, like, that's a simple pattern that you can reshift, and you can commit to saying, I've outgrown that version and I'm going to learn how to cook. And then the second you do that, it starts happening. And then the second identity lock that keeps you in that thermostat, that defaults you back to that level of belief that keeps you stuck, is saying, I'll be happy when, and delaying happiness. You delay confidence and joy until you hit a number, which creates pressure, not progress. But change sticks when you learn to feel proud during the process. So you can reframe that to, I can feel proud of who I'm becoming even before the scale moves. That's obviously a fat loss example. If you're starting a business and it's hard and you have doubts and you're sort of waiting for, you're waiting to make your millions before you show any satisfaction, like, that's going to run you into the ground. And you can reshift to, I'm getting better at sales, or I'm getting better at marketing, or I'm getting better at managing people. And you want to stack up all of these micro wins and micro beliefs into your favor. So like in your life right now, you've got health, wealth, relationship goals, and all of the shit where you're being held back, you can flip that into something more positive, and you can start identifying with that. Even if proof in your mind says it's the other way, that's only because of something that started way back, and you've just reinforced it, and you've identified with that, and you've clung onto it, right? Because the brain defaults to what's familiar, not what's good for you. It's just like me. It's not necessarily good for me to believe that I can't draw, but it defaulted to my first experience, what was familiar, and then I sort of self-sabotaged when I went to school, when I just thought I was bad at art, and now that's affecting me now because I need to constantly overcome that when I'm creating my content. So you can relate this to your experiences in those realms. Cool. So what are the tools to actually make this happen and put this in place? So really all it is becoming aware of the shit you're telling yourself and the belief systems that aren't serving you, and then you rewrite them, and you start rewiring those thought patterns in the present moment. So again, for me, I can consider, back to the drawing example, the time where my sister laughed at me when I was 4 years old, when I picked up a paintbrush for the first time. I can rewire that right now to, okay, cool, like going forward, I'm deciding that I am creative. And you can just recreate that new experience for your brain to identify with. Okay? So let's look at your current belief systems, and this is actually an activity. So if you guys can pull up a pen and paper, this is going to be super, super useful for you. And I want you to write down 5 deadly beliefs in or out of fitness that you've been telling yourself. Then you're going to reshape that belief into the version of that better serves you. So to give you an example, going to the gym makes me nervous. And for many people, that would be a reason for not going and just accepting and dealing with the consequences of not being in shape. But a mental reshift into a belief that better serves you would be, I enjoy new things. And the gym is just a new thing. Another one, out of the gym, I'm terrible at dating, would be a belief that holds you back. Well, a new one would be, I'll continue going on dates until I find my person. And trust me, no matter what you've achieved, guys, no matter how content you are with life right now, there is so much damaging stuff you're telling yourself. So I really want you to reflect on that. And then, if we can get any shares on which belief you've told yourself, and then how you've rewired that, that will be awesome. And then if you want my hand in rewiring these beliefs, then we can also do that. So now we start on reshaping your beliefs, reshaping your identity, and ensuring that you attract what you want more quickly. Because we've got one life, we haven't got time to tell ourselves bullshit that's holding us back from what we really want, because of some silly past experience that probably happened when we were a child. If not, happened in your teens or your 20s, but either way, it was one thing you identified with. If a slightly different thing changed and it went the other way, things would look totally different for you because you would have seen it a different way. Right now, let's bring them to the awareness and let's come up with some scripts. And I'm going to join you guys on this exercise and give you some shares, because I did it about 2 months ago and it was super useful, and I'm due to revisit again today. So let me get my pen and paper. So yeah, beliefs you guys are telling yourself, note those down and then reshift it into a belief that better serves you. Michelle.
Yeah.
How are we doing?
So, good, thank you. I only can think of 3 though at the minute off the top of my head.
Yeah, 5 is a bit of a challenge. I've got 4 myself. So yeah, cool. Let's do 3.
So I've got that I will revert back to my old habits once our journey's finished. But I know that I can continue to follow the plan myself. So that's what I've got to turn myself around and know that I can actually do it. Even when when our journey's finished.
When did you last tell yourself that belief that you will revert back once we're done together?
I think it's when our 3 months was up. I'm thinking, oh, am I getting? I can see a lot of changes, and I know I can do it. But I'm thinking, oh, with you not there behind me, am I going to just slip back into my old ways, like we
Right.
were talking about? So, but I think as I'm progressing, I'm thinking, no, actually, I can carry on.
That's it. Like, how ludicrous is that belief? I'm not
Mm,
I'm not the one putting the food in your mouth. I'm not making you go to
no,
the gym. I
yeah,
gave you a structure that you've proven you can follow for more than 3 months now. You've got the results out of it.
yeah, because I think as well, like when we said like all the different things I've tried before that I've stuck to and things and nothing's ever happened or nothing, I've had no change. So, you know, this is working well for me and I know I can carry on with it.
That's it. And it's interesting, the thing you mentioned there, all of the stuff I tried before, you
Mm,
probably told yourself each time you tried something that the same thing's going to happen again.
yeah,
What was
yeah.
different this time around? Why do you feel that hasn't happened?
Um, I don't know whether it is because I know it is the accountability part, I think for me was a big thing. I wasn't accountable to myself. I needed to be accountable to somebody else.
Mm,
So I think that was a big thing for me. And now I've got that change where I can be accountable to myself as well.
that's it. That's the new
So that's a
belief.
big thing for me.
Love it.
And then I've got, will I miss work when I retire? Which hopefully is next March. But then I think, well, I'll have more time to do everything I want to do and everything that I love. So probably won't miss work. And my other one was, I often can't say no to another glass of wine. So I'm thinking, well, actually, what I should do is continue to have a glass of wine, but have small glasses of wine and have a couple rather than one large one and then have another large one. So I can still have 2 glasses of wine, but I'll make sure they're smaller ones.
Cool.
So
So what
they're the
what
three I've
what
got.
what would the beliefs be around the wine one? Like what's the destructive belief and then what's the new belief?
Yeah. I think with probably any alcohol, isn't it? As soon as you've had a large glass of wine, then you get to the point where you think, let's sod it. I'll have another glass of wine. I'll have a few crisps. It doesn't matter. And then you wake up the next day feeling very guilty about what you've done. So
Okay.
I
So
think it's sort of being a bit more mindful. I'm more mindful now of what I'm drinking, what I'm eating. So I think it is. I think I do go out quite a bit. So I do have a few glasses of wine and things like that. And then maybe changing it to have the odd gin, so I've got less calories and things like that. So maybe a mindset of what I'm drinking as well.
mm, I would say what the beliefs could be there are
Mm-hmm.
the bad belief is I'm out of control when I drink and I have zero control. And then the new belief is I will have as much as I want and the odd occasion where the booze takes over, I won't feel guilty. I don't mind. It was my choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's how I'd reshape that one just to give it a
yeah,
bit more substance and like allow you to
yeah,
identify with something. It's just like, hey,
yeah,
well, I am in control. And on the odd instance where, I do have too many, because we all do, I'm not going to feel guilty about it because
mm,
I decided to start drinking in the first place. I decided to have that large glass of wine, knowing that I can have a few, like, knowing that I might have a few more after it. But I guess you're owning it.
yeah.
Great share. Thank you, Michelle.
Okay.
Mr. Neil, get his steps
Hello.
in.
I am. So I haven't got pen and paper. I'm quite talented of talking and walking, but writing at the same time is not in my repertoire just yet. But no, I think for me, just picking up from Michelle, there's 2 bits I think that sort of resonated with me in there. The first one, I think I was very similar more early on in my journey, as it were, and I think there's that part of the journey experience of the last year is that kind of acceptance and turning those negatives into positives and actually being, I've always been part of, one of the negatives for me has always been very self-critical. And and that probably links into another one of not feeling sort of worthy of myself in that regard. And that's probably the lesson over the last year, is actually to be kinder to myself, to be proud, like you said, Alex, even the small bits, because all of those small bits do add up over time. And it's the same thing when you're on part of the journey. Nothing, if I think for me, the weight and so forth and the unhappiness, that's culminated over many, many years. So it's not something that is just going to sort of silver magic bullet and change overnight. It's something that actually part of that process of turning the negative into the positive and the learning of it is understanding that it is those sort of small steps, and part of that is having control. And that probably links to the alcohol bit of, I was very sort of, have a drink after work. It was the way to relax, the way to switch off, the way to deal with emotions. And the same part, it's sort of drinking for the sake of it, I suppose, rather than maybe perhaps enjoying it. So, and that need of going out and socialising, and almost the negative concept would be, actually, I need to drink to have a good time. And actually, I don't. I can still have a good time without the drink. And so for me now, if I go to cricket, I take my friend. I'm the nominated driver because I'm quite happy not having a drink, and they can have a drink, and I'm quite happy with my non-alcoholic gin and tonic that's only 4 calories and a bottle of water. So I think, but it takes. I think for me, it takes time. It has taken time to appreciate that, and really kind of it's almost, and what you've talked about, Alex, is almost like it's that thought process and that identity. That's kind of, and I definitely can relate to mine being to childhood. That identity and that behaviour has been with you for decades, effectively. So it's that's what you're used to. It's naturally as a human, isn't it? That's our comfort zone, right or wrongly. That's what you'll sort of feel and what you're used to. So to change and step away from that and be someone different, it feels alien at first. But I think back to what was said about the fear of going back. I'm well past that now, because A, I know I can do it. B, I know I can keep on top of things and control. And actually, it's not like it's not a diet or anything else like that. And it's not even a change in lifestyle anymore. It is my new identity. It's the way that I eat and drink and walk, and it is my new life in that sense. And I don't want to go back. That's the first point of call. I don't want to be back to being that fat, miserable bastard. I want to be the happy person I am now, enjoying life, doing things, doing new things, and experiencing life and everything it has to offer. So there, that's my quick summary.
Yeah, that's awesome. You've shifted from self-destructive behaviors to self-love behaviors. And that's the second you decided that you were going to love yourself rather than hate yourself, was when you decided to put more time into your sleep, reduce the booze or cut it out entirely at times, start exercising, eat healthier, because all those things are forms of self-sabotage, right? Like late nights, drinking to take the edge off, eating junk food. It's all keeping yourself in that point because you identify with not liking yourself. But it's
and that's the point, Alex. Like having that sort of drinking to excess and letting go is almost like you're letting go of the control and actually I can't blame myself because I was in a drunken state, full well knowing that the next day, for me, my blood sugar is going to be all over the place and I'm going to want to eat the world the next day. And that is the kind of, in a drunken state, if I want to call it. That's something that stage you kind of accept when you're in that state, I suppose. But actually, do you know what? I don't get it. And maybe it was, the reflection is maybe you were kind of lying to yourself, and actually you were enjoying that, but actually on reflection, no, I didn't enjoy any of it.
Yeah, interesting. All right, we'll go to David, because David's had his camera on for a second, but perhaps Neil, you could share with Michelle afterwards how you transitioned from, thinking, oh, I might fall back, to no, this is definitely who I am right now. Maybe you can share some insights just to give Michelle a bit more there. But David, Hello.
Alex, how are you? How are you, everyone?
I'm great. You're looking fantastic.
Thanks very much. I've had a character building day and a few, like yourself, technical issues this evening. But no, I suppose just on your point there, I might come in on the example you give of the drawing. You know, I suppose I would have been always considered as the heavy kid growing up, you know, and that would have been, I suppose it reflected itself in football and it reflected itself in sports, different things, you know. But I'd be quite a driven person before I commenced this journey as well in terms of business and work. And I suppose that was March last year that I sort of got a kick. I gave myself a kick up the backside and realised, you know, I need to change. And I thought I would never be that fit person, or I would never be the one in terms of the people would go to or look up to or nothing else, you know. And I think, especially since commencing the journey with yourself, things have started to change, you know, and I'm saying now, yeah, I can be that fit person. And I think with that is coming the confidence, and it's also becoming the way of being able to, the confidence is there, I suppose, in the image and in terms of the ability of what you're able to do. And I think that confidence rubs off when you're dealing with people and dealing with situations as well. You know, and I think, just as I say, it's I suppose that transcendence, that element that you're looking at, it's that shift from, no, I can't be that person because it's something that's drummed into you from a young age, right up to, you know, you're overcoming that barrier and you're saying, I don't know if that's recorded or not, but feck it. You know, I can be that person. And I think whenever you overcome that barrier, it unlocks a lot of other potentials, and you realise what potential lies deep within. And I think people buy on that sort of exuberance or the bit of confidence that's underneath. And I think just from previous experiences there, it helps you to, I think, developing habits over time with the likes of yourself there. You can really pull that through into dealing with difficult situations. And I suppose how you deal with them difficult situations has changed. You know, it's a much more managed, thoughtful process now with the likes of using meditation and stuff like that too. So, no, I'm just that one example, I suppose, for me, but I just think it completely changes the mindset, and mindset's key. So it's my 2 cents.
No, that's awesome. What determines the point where you say fuck it and change and then things are never the same again? Do things like just get so bad that it can't be any worse? Like, or can you change before things get to that point? Like, what was your journey around that?
I think ultimately for me it was a case with work. I would have been putting in crazy hours in work, and I wasn't recognised in terms of getting time off in lieu of crazy hours. I would have been doing 14, 15-hour days where I should have been doing a 7-hour day. And I thought, you know something? Feck it, it's time to look about me. For, I'd say I was getting to the heaviest that I'd ever been. I wasn't happy. I was stressed. And I just realised, no, there's more to life here than work and stress. And I had started onto a bit of a fitness journey, and it was more for stress management. And it was just over time, people have said, geez, you're starting to look well, or you're starting to lose a bit of weight in that, you know. And it was at that point I realised that was, fuck it, making the decision now, going for this, and that's it. And I think that's where you come on scene then as well, Alex. And I thought, we'll do this in a sustainable fashion. So almost 7 stone later, I think we're getting to that stage after losing it. So that'd be my moment, is just, you know, it's stepping back and looking at it and saying, oh, fuck it, I deserve this. You know, life's short, make the most of it.
Interesting. And then you saw some results, and then that was enough encouragement to, I guess, proof of concept to commit to the full identity shift. Yeah. It's still interesting, though, that was something that prior to that decided you to embark on that journey. But
That's it. No, and that's, I suppose you could see what was achievable with others, and like we've all tried fad diets and we've all tried all different things, and they never last, or they never work for too long. But this time around, I think it was that sort of looking at the meditation, looking at nutrition in a proper way, looking at the training with yourself. I know we had a difficult call, the very first one. You hit a nerve or two, and do you know something? It was that kick up the backside that I really needed. Just to take that edge off it and go for it. And like what's holding you back? Ultimately, you know, that was what struck with me anyway.
Love it. Thanks for the share, mate.
Well,
cool. Neil, did you have? Well, before Neil, Rick, anything to add, mate?
Hi everyone.
Yo, Rick.
Hi guys. Yeah. Sorry. Good evening. Yeah, I think I kind of resonate with Michelle and who's the next one? David there for the first 2 points they have. Going back to the old ways, and maybe I can carry on with the knowledge I got from this journey. Also being self-critical and being kinder to myself. I think it is. If you observe, Coach, before I've been really eager in a way that I think I'm being too self-critical, in a sense that, okay, why am I not losing weight in my first 3 months, first 4 months, 5 months, and then you keep on telling me, okay, it's gonna take time and just trust the process, do it, this and that. And then I think it's just recently that I realized that, okay, it's really happening. I just have to continue doing what I do and just focus on of course, on my diet, my recovery, and my workouts proper form. So that's when I realized, I just have to be kinder to myself. I'm doing great. I'm happy with my journey as of the moment, and I'm still excited to what lies ahead in the next coming months. I remember myself seeing people who've lost weight over the past few months, lost 10 kilos already, and then my weight is not moving, I'm not losing weight. But then I realized, okay, but some good things are happening here. I'm having toner shoulders. I'm having toner chest. I think I lost some love handles there. So that's when I was like, okay, I have to be kinder to myself. We have different training, we have different backgrounds, we have different lifestyle. I just have to be kinder to myself. I think what I add is, one deadly belief that I have is that, okay, I'm tired. I don't have time because of my work. And then what I would shift is, okay, take a rest and make time. So I'll take today as an example. So I've finished work at 7. I'm already tired, to be honest. And then I realized, okay, have a rest. Attend this session and then have a rest and make time later, because I'm going on holiday, so I wouldn't have much time next week for my workouts. So I'd say, okay, I'll have time today and tomorrow and then Saturday. So I'll hit 4 days this week before going on holidays. So yeah, that's my take.
Nice. So your main identity, thermostat lock was around delaying happiness until the end. And then it was just a constant reminding of, like, look at all this stuff you're doing. Look at how consistent you've been with the gym.
Yeah.
Look at how much you've gone up on your squat. All of this stuff. No, that's good, because like you say, everyone's journey is different. It's very hard to predict exactly what yours is going to look like, but you pulled through and you're reaping the benefits now.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Thanks, Coach.
Any other shares, guys? Anyone want anything to add? Any questions for myself?
What have you written down, Alex?
All right, cool. Well, look, I'm your coach, right? So mine are more business related, less so than health, because I should have my health in order, right? But I do have one thing. I damaged my wrist quite badly. I was doing calisthenics, and it's a different style of training. And I know how to train for bodybuilding and weights, but calisthenics I wasn't really warming up properly. So I've damaged my wrist, and I can't really train for a few months now. And the belief I'm telling myself is I can't train hard because of my wrist. But that's a lie, because I can build a routine around it, and not make excuses. And understand that I'm putting you guys through the challenge and I need to embrace that myself. So that's a big one there. Another one is sales calls are uncomfortable. That's something I was telling myself. A sales call, well, you guys know, it's when I jumped on the call with you guys, we had a chat. That's all it is, right? It's just a conversation with someone else. But I was telling myself for really long these past couple of months that sales calls are uncomfortable. But reshift that belief to sales calls are an opportunity for me to give someone certainty that they can change their life, which in turn changes my life as well. It's a transaction that allows us to both get what we want, and it's an opportunity for that to happen, rather than it being this uncomfortable thing. Because the second I believe it's uncomfortable, you jump on with someone, you make it uncomfortable, and then they don't buy and you lose out. So that's one thing. And then another one is posting a reel a day, so posting content every day is hard, and it's, that's a limit. But really, upon reflecting on my actual beliefs, I could talk about health all day, and talking about health is fun, and that's all posting it is. It's not like this big daunting thing of lead gen and getting business. It's talking about something I'm passionate about. So the second I'm reframing that I enjoy talking about this topic, it makes it a lot easier to make more content about it. So yeah, if I'm telling myself posting once a day is hard and that's a limit, it's going to be a bloody limit. If I'm telling myself sales calls are uncomfortable, I'm going to make them uncomfortable and no one's going to join. And I can't help anyone. And if I'm telling myself I can't train hard because of my wrist, that's going to be the reality. And I'm not going to progress and I'm not going to get better. So those are mine. Neil.
Appreciate that.
All good. Any other questions, guys?
Something related to your wrist, coach, because I know, if you remember, I received some concerns 3 months ago when I hurt my wrist as well. If you can give me some, because I think it's not coming back, but I can still feel a little pain. I think it's recovered. I can lift heavy weights now, but there's still a little hurt here. So yeah, if you can give me some tips later on separately.
Yep.
how to recover from that would be great.
Perfect. Can you still, are you still happy to train and it's just a matter of bulletproofing it alongside, or do you feel that, is it preventing you from training to failure?
No, it's not preventing me, but it's not preventing me at all. There's just this little pain there. I think it's like my muscles or my wrist is traumatized in a way that when I lift at a certain angle, it hurts a little, but not too much, but I can still lift. So I think it's just a matter of time that I'll get to fully recover from it.
Yeah.
I've checked with my friends who've had injuries in their wrist, and they said, yeah, it's kind of normal. But yeah, if you have some tips how to recover from that,
yeah,
great.
We'll get that rehab for you. Just one more question on that, because I can go away and I can build out your plan soon. Is there a specific exercise that brings it on? Is it a specific motion?
I think, of course, it's just from time to time. I think it's just when I don't firm my wrist in lifting up a dumbbell. Sometimes you just do it like this.
Right. Yeah.
Not like this. Yeah. So I know a wristband would help, but I don't want to rely on a wristband. So I want to rely on my raw strength.
Absolutely.
So I don't wear it.
Yeah.
But when I realized, I think I kind of do it a little this way, so that's why it hurts.
Yeah.
So when I firm it again, it doesn't hurt. So yeah, I think it's just wrong angle, or I don't know.
Got it. Yeah. Wrist warm-ups and some forearm exercises. That's what you need. So I'll put those in for you, all right?
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Beautiful. But yeah, welcome to the gym.
Yeah. I know. Accidents happen.
Small price.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any questions? Shares? Thoughts?
I think maybe that hits on that point about resilience again there, or not resilience, but persistence. Don't let one thing knock you back. Think of ways around it and plough on, as I say. I think that's a good example there, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps we're telling ourselves we're not resilient, and the simple mental belief is, I am resilient. Yeah. Beautiful. Thanks for the share. It's just leg days after leg days. It sucks. You know what I mean?
At arms, hey Alex, that's what I'm sitting outside of the gym here, and I've had one of them days and work, and I actually can't wait to get on now to just clear the head and get that stress out, you know.
Awesome. You see, that's very powerful, David. Some people would see gym as this horrible, painful thing. You've reshifted your beliefs to, this is my way of de-stressing and feeling better.
Yeah.
And that's why you're going so consistently. You've just changed your belief around it.
I have to say now, if I don't get to the gym a day, you feel rotten after it. So it's that mindset shift.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful thing, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Neil's back.
No, it's only going to be, it's only on that other point really about the resilience and stuff. And I can't remember what the exact words you said when we first spoke. Alex, was about nothing ever worth, without hard work isn't worth having, sort of thing. The things that are worth having takes effort and commitment, and it's exactly that, isn't it? In terms of that resilience, you've got to work for it to reap the benefits and the rewards.
The fact it's hard to obtain makes it valuable.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Fantastic. All right, final call, guys. Neil's back home. He's probably going to settle down. Anyone got anything else? All right.
I would just say for you, Alex, I'm coach the coach now, but in the sense of the couple of points you raised is that I don't think, well, I can't speak for everybody here, but I'll speak for myself. If you hadn't made me feel comfortable on that call, I wouldn't have been here. And I think my reflection on the social media post today, I would always say for me, quality over quantity.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
It's valuable. All right, lads, and lovely Michelle. We'll leave that there. Thank you for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Any other reflections or any questions, drop me a message. And have a great evening.